Another Premier League weekend overshadowed by another PGMOL disaster class. Hey guys, I'm Richard and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around this man right here, the head of the PGMOL, Mr. Howard Webb, who we've talked about a number of times on the channel in recent times. Well, once again, him and his organisation and his band of referees and officials are once again in the spotlight when they don't deserve to be, because they've overshadowed yet another Premier League weekend. And the weekend isn't even over yet. At the time of recording, we are yet to await the games between Aston Villa and Leeds, Arsenal and Tottenham, and of course Monday's game between Manchester United and Everton. So there is still time for them to make even bigger prats of themselves than they actually are. However, I want to focus on three specific events that took place yesterday. Two in the game between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, and one in the game between Manchester City and Newcastle. Before we get into all of that though, looking at what happened and calling out why these band of morons are completely wrong in my opinion, I would like to take this opportunity to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course for you to get involved in the comment section down below. Use and abuse that section, people. Talk to me on what you think happened yesterday and how you saw the events play out in these controversial moments. Would love to hear what you have to say, your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading, so please do use and abuse that comment section, people. And without further ado, let's come to the conversation ourselves. Let's talk the PGMOL and the disaster class from matchday officials yesterday in the Liverpool-Nottingham Forest game, as well as the game that took place between Manchester City and Newcastle. So, where do we begin? Let's start with the Liverpool game, shall we? Now, obviously I'm a Liverpool fan. So, the first part of what I'm going to say, in no way, shape or form should be taken as me pinning the blame of why Liverpool lost yesterday on the first incident that I'm going to be talking about. In no way, shape or form is that the case. I feel like I have to say it just in case people are already like moaning in the comments going, oh, you're blaming the referees again, you're blaming the PGMOL again, blah 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 blah. No, it's not like that. Liverpool lost yesterday fairly and squarely. We deserved to lose. We were absolutely abysmal from the first whistle right the way through to the last. But as I keep saying in these specific instances, you can have two separate conversations. You can talk about why a team played poor and deserved to lose, but you can also call out referees and officials on the day if they made a poor decision, which I believe that they did. A couple of weeks ago, I said the same thing when Liverpool lost to Man City. We deserved to lose, but at 1-0, if Van Dijk's header is allowed to stand, that could be a potential gateway back into the game for Liverpool. The fact that that was not allowed to stand ruined a good opportunity for Liverpool to make it more of a contest. The same thing kind of happened here a little bit. And the same incident happened all the same. Because the first incident that we're talking about is Murillo's goal that drew first blood to Nottingham Forest. Now, it was a beautifully taken goal. Fantastic taken goal. Great strike from Murillo. Alisson's getting nowhere near it. It's 1-0 Nottingham Forest. It is a brilliant goal to kick things off for Sean Dyche's side. I have no problem with the goal being allowed to stand. My problem is the fact that this was the exact type of goal that was ruled out 2 weeks ago for Liverpool between Virgil van Dijk and, of course, Andy Robertson, therefore being in an offside position. In this instance, Murillo's strike goes behind Dan Ndoye and into the back of the net. Ndoye is judged to be in an offside position. His back foot is just behind the last Liverpool defender, which I think in this instance, I know he's not a defender, but he's the last man back, Alexander Isak. He's just a little bit behind. So by letter of the law, Dan Ndoye is in an offside position. Ball goes behind him, behind the eye line of Alisson Becker, and goes into the back of the net. Now, Alisson's not getting anywhere near that ball whatsoever. He's not getting anywhere near it. But neither was Gigi Donnarumma 2 weeks ago. And Andy Robertson didn't make a play for the ball, wasn't obstructing opponents, wasn't in the eye line of the goalkeeper, nothing. And yet, the Van Dijk goal was ruled out, and this goal was allowed to stand. I said in one of my many videos that I did on the Van Dijk incident a couple of weeks ago that it would not be long before there was a similar incident like this in which the opposite decision of what Liverpool suffered with was given. And lo and behold, we weren't even 45 minutes back into the first game of the resumption and the continuation of the Premier League season following the international break, and yet that incident occurred. The incident that I said would happen happened. And I can't think of a reason why that goal was allowed to stand after what this man said live on TV about why it was right for the Van Dijk goal to be chalked off. Since then, of course, an independent panel of judges and adjudicators came to the decision that the referees and the linesmen and the VAR officials have got it all wrong on the day. Van Dijk's goal should have been allowed to stand. So I can't necessarily be a hypocrite for saying, well, Murillo's goal definitely shouldn't have stood, because I feel like the Van Dijk goal should have. So Murillo's goal should have stood, but if we're to go by the logic of this absolute muppet and his words and obviously his little show that he did with Michael Owen, then if the Van Dijk goal wasn't allowed to stand, then this one shouldn't have been allowed to stand either. Simple as that. Simple as that. I know it's not exactly a clear image, by the way, but there is probably more images out there that are much clearer, that are better. And Doy's back foot is in an offside position. By letter of the law, it's offside. And plus, if it wasn't offside, the Premier League matchday official response and somewhat justification as to what arrived a referee at the decision would have just said he was actually in an onside position. So because of that, I have to state that he was offside. I just don't understand why one goal is allowed to stand and the other one isn't. Either way, the goal should have stood. If I believe the Van Dijk one should have stood, then this one should have stood. The second one, in spectacular fashion for the PGMOL, the second wrong decision happened literally 2 minutes later when Forest should have found themselves 2-0 up. This incident. Bit of a deflection off of Konate onto Igor Jesus, and Jesus eventually does fire it into the back of the net. Now, it's judged by VAR that Igor Jesus handled the ball. If he did, it comes off the sleeve. It comes off the sleeve of his arm. Which, as we know, if that is the case, is not handball. We know that. It's not handball if it comes off the sleeve of his arm. To prove it even further, later on, again in the Man City Newcastle game, Newcastle scored a goal that was ruled onside because Ruben Diaz's sleeve was playing the Newcastle player onside. So therefore, if that is a part of the body that can keep a player onside, therefore it is not handball. Which means that if it did strike this part of the arm of Igor Jesus, it is not handball, and therefore Forest got robbed of a second goal. Now, I know in the grand scheme of things it didn't make much of a difference because they still went on to win and they won pretty comfortably. But, again, We still need to call these things out when we see them. Regardless of whether they are for a team that has lost comfortably or won comfortably. We still need to call these out, and we still need to hold these morons accountable for how they are ruining our beloved game. It was a horrible mistake. Forest should have found themselves 2-0 up long before they actually did go 2-0 up, and therefore they're just wrong. So for anybody that's out there thinking that I only defend Liverpool or I'm biased towards Liverpool, no, I will call it out whenever I see fit. I will try and be as consistent as I can with this. Forest got robbed in the same way that I believe on a certain level Liverpool got robbed a couple of minutes beforehand. And if not, they definitely got robbed 2 weeks ago, and it was right for the Murillo goal to stand. Depending on the logic, the reasoning of this man right here. Which is further proof, by the way, in my opinion, that this guy should be sacked from his role. He is not fit to run this organisation, and his organisation is not fit for purpose. And then just to kind of put a bow on things for the day, as far as what the PGMOL are concerned, just to kind of really rub it in that they are incompetent and incapable of doing their jobs. This incident in the Man City Newcastle game occurs. Phil Foden, throw on goal, has a shot, it goes wide, but just afterwards, Shaw comes flying in with a challenge, wipes out Phil Foden, and no foul is given. No penalty, nothing. I'm baffled by this. I am truly, truly baffled by why and how a penalty was not given in this incident. I truly, truly am. Again, I looked at Man City a couple of weeks ago as being fortunate to have gotten away with the Van Dijk goal. I look at City this week and as being unfortunate to have not received a penalty for what happened to Phil Foden in this incident. In my opinion, it is a penalty. If this happens anywhere else on the pitch, it's a free kick. If Foden is in the middle of the park and he plays a pass and someone comes flying in with a challenge and takes him out, the referee gives a foul. The referee gives a free kick in City's direction. That is the be-all and end-all of that situation. Just because he's had a shot and it's gone wide and then the challenge has gone in on him doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. If that is anywhere else on the pitch, it's a free kick, it's a foul all day long. But for whatever reason, the referees didn't give it in real time, and the VAR backed them up, said it wasn't clear and obvious. Yet we have seen softer penalties given for less. And as I say, if that happens anywhere else on the pitch, it's a foul all day long. If anybody out there can make this make sense, please use that comment section down below to inform me, to enlighten me, because I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. Again, I'm not using these as excuses. Liverpool deserved to lose. Man City probably deserved to lose overall. But at the end of the day, once again, this man and his organisation have proven that they are not fit for purpose. And they have once again overshadowed another Premier League weekend. And like I say, the Premier League weekend at the time of recording is not done yet. We've still got 3 games to go this weekend as the recording is happening. we still got 3 games left, and these guys could still overshadow the talking points. We should be talking about Liverpool's continuing dismal run. We should be then talking about City stuttering again and Haaland not firing on all cylinders. But instead, we're talking about these absolute morons. These absolute morons that are officiating and running our game. And at the same time, ruining our game, in my personal opinion. But these are, of course, just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know about the incidents that we talked about in this video. What are your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings on them? Do you think the referees made the right call? Do you think the referees made the wrong call? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about all of that stuff and much more in that comment section. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will soon speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.